Hey everyone, in this video we're going to talk about events. So events are when you schedule a sequence or regimen to run at a specific date and time. If you've ever used a digital calendar app before, you'll be right at home with this interface. So let's get started. From the Farm Designer page, you're going to want to click the Events panel, and from here, to add an event, you'll click the plus button. In the first drop-down, you'll choose either a sequence or regimen. So I'm going to choose my water sequence that I just created in the last video. And then you can choose a start date and time. So I want to water this spinach plant tomorrow at 6:30 in the morning. And then I will click the Save button. And now that we're back at the Events panel, you'll see that the water sequence has been added. If I want to change this, for example, to water the spinach plant every day for the next month, I can click the Edit button and make this a repeating event that is going to run every one day, and I will press Save. And now you can see that the watering sequence will run every day for the next month at 6:30 a.m. Now let's say I want to use this watering sequence on more than just that one spinach plant. To do so, I need to go back to my sequence and edit it so that it uses a variable for the plant location instead of a specific plant every time. So let's go back to the sequence editor and look at my water sequence. And instead of choosing the specific spinach plant in the location dropdown, I'm going to choose the location variable. When I do this, you'll see that a new form is added at the top of the sequence for the location variable. Now I could choose a specific plant right here in the location variable, but that would make the sequence effectively act the same. Instead, I'm going to specify that this variable should be defined outside of the sequence. When I do that, I'll need to choose a default value. In this case, I'll just choose custom coordinates with 0, 0, 0. And then I'm going to save my sequence. Now when I go back to edit my event, I see that the sequence requires me to define the variable. So here's the variable form for the location, and it's been pre-populated with my default value. But in this case, I want to override the default and choose a specific spinach plant. And now I'm going to save that. So at this point, this event and the sequence are basically going to run the same as they did before. But now I have the option of choosing a different spinach plant or a broccoli plant or any other plant within my FarmBot map at the time of event creation instead of having to change the sequence every time. But let's say I don't want to schedule different events for all of my different plants. In that case, I can go back into the event form and change the variable value from a specific plant to, for example, all plants. Now the FarmBot will run my water plant sequence for every single plant in my farm at 6:30 a.m. every single day for the next month. Now let's say I want to, instead of scheduling a sequence to run on a recurring basis, I want to schedule a regimen that has not only my water plant sequence, but also a plant seed sequence on the first day. To do so, I'll click the plus event button. I'll choose my regimen, and you'll notice that I can only choose a start date, but not a start time, and that's because the time information is stored within the regimen. So I'm going to start this regimen tomorrow, and click Save, and you can see that now the FarmBot is going to execute a plant seed sequence at 6 a.m. on the first day, and then water the plant at 6:30 a.m. for the following week, and that is reflective of how I set up this regimen. Plant seed at 6 a.m. on day 1, and then water the plant at 6:30 a.m. for the next 7 days. Once you've scheduled a bunch of events, it can get pretty hectic looking through everything. If you want to filter down, you can use the search events bar here, and that allows you to filter all of your events to find something specific. And if you've scrolled way down the list, you can also click this calendar icon to jump back up to the top. And that concludes the events functionality of the FarmBot web app. Thanks.